Welcome to another reaction stream, and it's been a long time since we've done one on a Saturday, mainly due to the amount of Saturday deadlines that we've had, but also because we haven't been able to, and we've been doing it on the Sunday. But because there's probably going to be a lot of UCL fantasy content over the next few days, I think it just makes more sense to get it through now. I know we've still got 4 games left, I think, on the Sunday, including the really big one, but we'll talk about how it's going so far. And just very mixed in terms of everything. Like FPL wise, obviously pretty good rank rise from 65k to 45k, and it's all thanks to that Son captaincy that completely transformed my week. Kulusevski and Rafinha also carrying, and what you see on screen is the points. Without the bonus though added on, I would have 9 extra points to what you see on screen. Son getting 3, Kulusevski getting 1, and I think Rafinha is getting 2 as well. Son obviously has the captain, so that's 6 more points. Doherty came off injured very early on, so that's disappointing. Reece James was on the bench, so he's been yet another frustrating buy. Ramsdale conceding twice there, so not great. I still got the double Liverpool fullbacks against Man City, but not really going to expect that much from them. The same goes for Salah, but the quality of the players are obviously so good. Weghorst, I mean, this is the big kind of talking point with Burnley. It looks like he could have lost his spot, so that might be an interesting one, and either way, Che Adams might come on for me basically, and it's not really ideal. But there you go. In the end, 68 points so far. I can't really complain. FPL wise, it's gone pretty well this week. And before the Spurs game, once again, just like last week, it was looking poor. I was on a red arrow. I think I was around 80k actually before the Spurs game, but that captaincy changed everything. Even Harry Kane, not having him and his hat-trick of assists, once again, not even that was actually something that would push me back down the ranks. But yeah, in terms of like the last few Saturday streams that we've done, quite a lot of you actually were on the streams, you know, chatting and everything. So they seem quite good compared to the Sunday ones. So kind of testing the waters out a bit as well. Welcome, Oliver. Went for Kane captain over Son. To be honest, I would have done the same thing. And I thought even Bruno could have been a better captaincy option than Son. How wrong was I? Happy with Son, my captain. Yeah, he just basically carried my week. So I'm not sure how your team is, but yeah, having that captaincy, nailing it down is really important. And even last week, for example, if I captained Son as well, that would have been even better. But instead, I captained Salah. I want to sell Salah and Coutinho for Son and Kulusevski. The price will go up if I don't get them. The thing is, though, if you're not going to be priced out, I wouldn't make that move right now. I would just wait, even if you suffer a bit in terms of the prices and you won't be able to accumulate that team value. I just wouldn't do it. Yeah, everyone is saying that as well. Made Kane my captain over Son. Once again, I don't want to kind of lie and just, you know, chat nonsense. I literally would have done the same thing. So yeah, Kane is still doing really well, and look at his consistency. So I still would prefer Kane over Son in terms of structure, but I've always said this, I think Son offers the better value for money, and if it wasn't for the lack of forward options, I think most people would maybe be inclined to go for Son. But because we don't have any other forwards to choose from, Kane seems like the ideal pick. Let's remember, around Game Week 29, that double game week Kane hauled, Son did nothing pretty much. And everyone was talking about Son being off form. Let's get rid of him for Harry Kane. I considered it, even in Game Week 30, a blank game week. In the end, though, I decided to keep, and I didn't think it was worth a hit. And ultimately, I made the right, you know, choice there. But I don't really blame those that did. I made Son captain. Also got Kulusevski, so happy. Yeah, same here. Same with Rafinha. If you have any of those players, you probably had a really good week, and as the captain, obviously, that completely transforms it, in my opinion. Benched Gordon, once again, you know, obviously it's a reaction stream. We're talking about what's happened in Game Week 32, whilst looking ahead to Game Week 33. I'll talk about some brief plans first, but Gordon, I mean, would you expect him to score a goal against United? I mean, they're not the greatest team or defence in the world, but probably not. And the nature of the goal is quite interesting. It was a very lucky goal. So there you go. I wouldn't kick yourself about it. I don't think Arsenal a wee bit Spursy. In terms of Champions League qualification, I'd say so. Now, I don't think the advantage was as great as some people said. And, you know, even before the Palace game and the injuries, despite the fact that I was cautiously optimistic and I thought Arsenal could finish top 4, I didn't think it was a certainty like some people suggested. And after the Tierney injury, that already kind of, that's a red flag. And I'm like, okay, something's not right here. Then you see the performance against Palace and then Partey getting injured. And yeah, after that, I just expected and assumed the worst. I thought Arsenal would bounce back against Brighton, though, despite them being one of the bogey teams for Arsenal, but not even that. And Arsenal might even be lucky to finish 5th. And I'm not overreacting. It's just if you look at the fixtures, no Tierney, no Partey, and also the performances in the last 2 games, all awful. And then you have like refereeing decisions like that. Like, I'm not saying Arsenal would have won the game if that goal stood, but that seemed very fishy to me. You know, they didn't have a let's say, a really clear-cut angle, yet they decided to just make a decision like that and disallow it. Normally the benefit goes to the attacker, but there you go. Either way, yeah, Arsenal are a bit Spursy in terms of the Champions League qualification for sure. Last 5 years in the league, they've been awful. Own Kane and Son, captain Salah, red arrow so far. You never know with Salah though, do not underestimate him, but obviously right now it doesn't look ideal. And those that captain Son, I mean, let's be honest, the majority of us that have Son, or as the captain, is because we don't have Kane. And that's the way I see it. I would have captained Kane as well. Salah's an interesting one. I really like him as a captaincy option even this week, but probably not more than Kane and Son. I believe Salah for captaincy against United is more nailed on after looking at United's performance against Everton. Yes, and also Salah against Everton in Gameweek 34. That's why I still think he's a good captaincy option for the next 2 weeks. I'll talk about my team in Gameweek 33 very soon. I'm even considering a few hits, potentially. Kulusevski in for Rafinha, yes, I think that's a great, easy move as well. You know, Rafinha blanks in 33, and finally, you know, I said this in the stream, it's like I reverse jinxed him. Rafinha got a double-digit return, so obviously, really good way to kind of send him off, because that might be the last time you have him in your team. So, you know, really top performance by Rafinha. Leeds are looking decent, although obviously they're facing Watford, but they did it against Wolves. They have been, you know, quietly been going about their business. Even against Leicester, they were a bit unlucky not to win that game. Rafinha missed a really good chance. I want Verstappen to win F1 tomorrow. What about you? Honestly, I don't mind. Because I've got the mega driver on Leclerc, I wouldn't mind if he wins. But yeah, maybe. I mean, look, let's put it this way. Normally, I like Ferrari because of Schumacher, but I don't know. There's something about Verstappen. I think I just like his driving style, which might be controversial. I sold Salah for Bruno. To be honest, I still think as long as you can get Salah back in Gameweek 34, I can understand the move, and I think it's a good move. But yeah, Salah for me is still the better option than Bruno, even if he blanks tomorrow. Sold Salah to KDB and not Son because I had Kane and Kulusevski. Yeah, I see what you mean. KDB is still a really good option, but once again, I still like Salah the most out of those three, but Son's form is crazy right now. Massive red arrow down by 110k. Wow, captain Salah on 25 points. There's still a lot of games left, so, you know, even my rank right now, which I'm happy with, it's not the greatest, but, you know, I'll take it. It's still very premature. You know, we've got a few more games left. But obviously Son, you know, changed things completely. I was around 80k before the game. I nearly went last minute, went Bruno for Son and captain. So glad I bottled it. Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, sometimes you get these quick escapes, but then the other times you're kicking yourself and like, oh, why didn't I do it? I would have gained so many points. And even if you look at my team, you know, the Reece James transfer, I made it, I think in the last 2 minutes of the deadline heading into Gameweek 31. It's looking like an awful move so far. 2 points, or no, actually no, not even that. 1 point across 2 games. It's looking pretty poor. I got 45 points of Barnes and Rob to play. Sold Salah for Fernandes and Kane got me a load of points. I still think Kane's a great option, and structurally he's probably better than Son, but I think what a lot of us will be looking to do now is having Kane and Son. Does that mean selling Salah though? Ideally I'd want to keep him and have Son and Kane. And if Doherty is out for a long period of time, then I want to find a way to fund that move, even if it means downgrading one of my defenders and making a few alterations elsewhere. Even Rafinha or one of my strikers could become a budget option. So to kind of summarise, if Weghorst is benched tomorrow, that doesn't mean he's not going to play at all in the double game week. He might get one start, but I would just be put off him immensely, and I would even consider downgrading that position completely. And then I can upgrade Adams to Harry Kane at some point. In order to fund that, maybe Rafinha can become Gordon, as I talked about before. I'm not even saying that just because he scored against United. That was a bit of a lucky goal. And I could also consider one of my defenders being downgraded too. Reece James obviously looks like the worst one at the moment, but if he gets those starts, I think he's going to get the points. And you saw Chelsea today. They absolutely demolished Southampton 6-0. Even Werner's getting in on the act. Those of you that have Mount, fair play, you know. And I actually saw a few of you in the deadline stream asking, should I get rid of Mount? And I'm not saying, you know, I'm a genius or anything for saying it, but I just don't think it made sense. Even Mount to Havertz, and I just think it was the right call to keep him. So hopefully all of you that have Mount or had him still kept him in the end. That was, I'd say, the right call. Obviously, Mount is a very weird player because he blanks a lot, but then he can also get these explosive double-digit returns this season. Normally, he's not that explosive. How are people trying to get rid of Son? To be fair though, it makes sense a few weeks ago when you saw the form and everything, and also since Conte's arrived, Kane has been better. But yeah, look, Son is a great FPL option, and in terms of value, I've said this before, I think he offers one of the best values in midfield and in the entire game. Son, Essential and Kulusevski covering Kane, I'd say so. You know, not having Kane really cost me around Gameweek 29, but right now I'm actually gaining rank because of Kulusevski, Doherty and Son. Obviously not Doherty today, but I agree, Miguel. Kane is still a great option though, and ideally you'd want to have both of them, but do you sell Salah? Probably not, I think. Should have went by my gut and chose Son captain over Kane, but still have 71 points. Obviously it's easy to say that right now, but there's a reason why you probably went for Kane. You know, just maybe a more prolonged period of form than Heung-min Son, which has just been 2 games in a row. And also in away games, Kane has been better. But as I talked about in my Twitter, you know, someone actually said, I don't know if any of you were there for it, someone was saying that they were laughing at everyone captaining Son because he's playing away and he's not going to do that well. And I mean, look what happened. That's why sometimes, you know, you can overthink these things, but you know, in the end, football is much more than that, and and maybe you overcomplicate the decision in a way. Sell De Gea and buy Schmeichel, both have a double. I still prefer Schmeichel, he's cheaper. I wouldn't say Leicester are necessarily better defensively than United. I think both of them are poor, but Schmeichel has those doubles and the better quality fixtures. So yes, I think I would rather have Schmeichel, but I'd only make that move, Ahmed, if you know you don't have another transfer to make, basically. Do we know if Doherty will be out yet? I'm not sure, but I might be wrong about that. Maybe Conte has said something already, but I'm guessing they're going to have scans. He was able to play for 10 more minutes after he sustained the injury, so let's wait and see. Got 2 free hits and bench boosts left and 3 double game weeks. What to do? Probably the same thing. Free hit 33 and 37 and bench boost 36. I think that makes sense, but your team might be different for that. Went Foden over Son last week, already have Kane and Kulusevski and felt like triple Spurs was much. Yeah, I've seen a few people in the chat say that today. I don't blame you for that. But yeah, right now, that Spurs trio in attack, they're carrying them to the top 4 and probably one of the best front threes in the country and maybe in Europe right now, definitely in terms of form. So yeah, what can we say? Foden can still produce the goods, but Heung-min Son is looking so good. I've had a horrendous week and potentially lost out on my £25 FPL. Don't have Son, 37 points. There's still a long way to go. Well, I say that, but you know we still have got plenty of games left, including double game weeks. So you can still make up ground. You know, just a few weeks ago I was 100k, and even let's say 10 weeks ago I was 200k. Things can change quickly. I could easily go back down as I can go back up. So I'd be a bit patient if possible. Do you think Bowen will score tomorrow? Yes, I do, but obviously it's just a guess. I could be wrong about that. Give us the best 36 squad. I'll probably do that closer to the Game Week 36 deadline because we've still got Game Week 33 to think about first. So yeah, Game Week 36. We'll talk about that eventually. Maybe when I do the Game Week 33 best free hit and wildcard team videos potentially, because you can compare it to that and then you can make your decision. But ultimately, I don't think it makes sense to do it in this reaction stream. Chelsea came back real nice after the Brentford disaster. Yep, and Real Madrid. That was a great reaction from them. Southampton, though, they always have this performance, and I said this as well on Twitter, where they just completely capitulate. I don't get what it is. Against Leicester 2 seasons ago, United last year, no idea. Son will get more goals as he's always in more advanced positions with Kane dropping back in midfield areas. Only advantage for Kane is penalties. The thing is, though, Kane was still dropping deep when he was in form. Well, he's still in form, by the way. He's got a hat-trick of assists. But in terms of the goal-scoring form, and Son was off it. It's just right now, especially against teams like Villa, who were attacking, and it's just the wrong thing to do against Spurs. The same thing that City did as well. But yeah, it's just playing into Son and Kulusevski's hands. I mean, that front three is working really well at the moment. I thought that Villa could actually, cause a slip up there for Spurs, but it hasn't happened. Che Adams decreased in price again. Yeah, but the thing is, all the forwards are poor, so, I'd like to get rid of him ahead of Game Week 34, but I'll keep him for the double and reassess. I don't think I'm going to be playing the free hit in the end in Game Week 33, but I'm still open-minded. Kane, Kulusevski and Rafinha carrying my team with 5 to play and KDB captain. Pretty much the same with all of us with those players, or Heung-min Son. And then, 5 yet to play and KDB captain. You could still get a quite good score there, Sidindra, to be fair. I wouldn't be surprised if, Salah and KDB both scored and it was a draw or even, just a high-scoring game, and it could be a win for either side. I captained Son because I missed the deadline. I mean, that's a good thing. If you were going to captain someone else, then there you go. Sometimes it's the good thing to forget the deadline. Who should I sell Coutinho for? I think you already said it, Manish. I think Kulusevski and Son, the players that you said you're going to bring in, I think that's just a no-brainer. Otherwise, if you want to target the doubles, you've got Maddison and Barnes, who are still pretty good options too. Welcome Kobe, having a terrible game week so far, currently on 37 points with 4 left to play. Look, the thing with FPL this season is a lot down to luck, in my opinion. There is an element of skill in terms of managing the doubles and all the carnage, But then you have these huge swings, between even Kane and Son today, despite Kane's hat-trick of assists, Coutinho and maybe Rafinha in Game Week 28. I can name so many examples. Reece James and Rudiger in Game Week 28. And, sometimes it's just down to luck. And you make a good purchase, a good decision, but ultimately it's not really backed in terms of the points. So, hopefully you recover in the second day of should we say the third actually, if we're counting the game yesterday, of Game Week 32. And Game Week 33 poses a really good opportunity for you, whether you play the free or not. So let's wait and see. I realise that I'm a bit far behind, by the way. Thank you everyone who's tuning in. Let me just check the numbers and see, kind of analysing this. Yeah, over 100 people. Thank you very much. Obviously, I know it was kind of a short notice stream. This probably won't be as long as usual. So maybe by 9:30, 10 will be done UK time. But obviously, I'll let you guys know. I'll try to get through your questions. I'll talk about my plans as well. And let me know, by the way, when FPL kind of update the site in terms of the bonus points. Then I can also show that so you can see. But just kind of a quick look into Game Week 33. This is how my team looks like without transfers. I'm going to keep an eye on that Doherty situation. Let me see if he's flagged now, actually. No, he's still not flagged, despite refreshing the page. I've got Broja on the bench, and this is the thing. And when I'm looking at this, if Doherty's out for a long time, I would love to get rid of him and find a way to get Son. But I don't want to get rid of Son. Did I say Son? To get Kane, sorry. I don't want to get rid of Son or Salah, so I'm in a bit of a predicament there. I also am going to see what happens tomorrow with Weghorst against Norwich. Is he going to start or not? And if he isn't, then I think I might just get rid of him, despite the fact that I just got him in. And the reason why I'm talking about Weghorst potentially being benched is because I think Dwight McNeil, they kind of track FPL teams. He transferred him out for Jay Rodriguez. So, yeah, that isn't really a great sign. But I'm open to using both of my free transfers or even taking a -4, maybe even a -8 hit. So I'll be talking about transfer plans more in the team selection and also maybe later in this stream. But I've got some different options. As a fifth midfielder, I can downgrade Rafinha to Gordon, or I could go to Maddison and Barnes and captain them. I'm just not really sure if I want to, let's say, for example, get Bruno Fernandes in for Son or Salah. I just don't think it makes sense right now. And looking at what United did just now, yeah, I'm quite happy to go without them. So let me know what you guys think of United. I still think they can haul against Norwich, but I don't think their ceiling will be that high compared to Heung-min Son, even in a single game week. So not for me. Is Lacra a sell now? I even said heading into game week 32, I think he's a sell. And his stats are awful. His goal scoring record, I think he's had 4 shots since Christmas. 4 shots. That is incredible. And I think every Arsenal outfield player took a shot except for Lacazette, which says a lot. And he can get assists, he can get a penalty, he's a pretty good penalty taker, but he doesn't take enough shots, and he's just not the solution for Arsenal going forward. So yeah, I would sell him. Obviously, it's a bit of a difficult situation because he's got a double, so you could make the argument to keep him, then sell him in 34, but either way, I'd sell him. Maybe 33 is a bit of a difficult one there. Captain Fernandes, yeah, this is what I mean though. I actually ranked him slightly higher than Son, because I thought that Bruno Fernandes would maybe get a goal and an assist against Everton. It's a team he loves playing against, but United are so disjointed and Son is in great form, so sometimes you just have to back the form, but it's easy to say that now. A few weeks ago, Son was looking clueless. Replacement for Tierney, James or Matip? I still prefer James, but it's very tricky, or difficult for me to really back James when he hasn't got a Premier League start in the last 2 games. So he's been an awful purchase for me so far. Reece James, easy fixtures are getting out of the way. Yeah, but even then, if Chelsea are on it and, not this Brentford or Real Madrid performance, they could easily put on a show and get plenty of clean sheets, even against Arsenal in Game Week 33. Top 3 strikers for bench boost in Game Week 36. If I'm not mistaken, I think, Harry Kane easily, just because he's the only reliable striker. I'd maybe go for someone like Iheanacho. And in terms of the others, I'm not quite sure. It's very difficult for me to really back someone. I think Cucho Hernandez, if I'm not mistaken, has a double in Game Week 36. Yeah, I'd maybe back him. Am I forgetting somebody? Mateta is good. So any of those 4 would be good. So it's up to you which 3 you go for. I just don't like most of the strikers this season. And also the good thing about Mateta and Cucho is that they're so cheap. You can easily bench them and, for the rest of the season, but also have that bench boost in play for 36. Who are you going to replace to fit Kane into your team? Weghorst it would be if he is benched, or also it could be Che Adams. So basically the way I could go about it is downgrade Weghorst to a cheap striker like Mateta or Cucho, and then Adams can become Kane from Game Week 34 onwards, but I'd need a lot of money. So let me show you FPL.team. That's the kind of go-to always for my transfer plans. So let's actually try this because I haven't put it into practice yet. This is just kind of my ideas, without checking the budget restrictions, and unfortunately my budget isn't great. So let's say, for example, let's assume Weghorst is benched and I just want to get rid of him and bye-bye. Let's go for someone like Mateta. Could be Kuchu as well. I wouldn't mind him. Then we can do Adams. By the way, this wouldn't be specifically for Gameweek 33. I'm just showing you my plan to get Harry Kane potentially, but it's going to look very ambitious. I don't think I would be able to afford all of this. I think I would need to get rid of Trent Alexander-Arnold. So as you can see, 4.3 million left that I would need, and also I've got too many Spurs players. Obviously Doherty would be the one who's going to be offloaded. I'd love to keep Son and have Harry Kane as well. So as you can see, it's going to be really tricky. So what I could do is get Fabian Schär, and then how much? 3.9 million. So Trent could be downgraded here, and to a 4 million defender. I mean, I still like Trent a lot, and I'd rather get rid of Reece James if anything. So, and the problem with focusing on Harry Kane is that I still have Tierney on my bench, and he's obviously out for the rest of the season. So, if I'm being honest, to get Harry Kane in would be something ahead of Gameweek 36. So that's something I would build towards whilst addressing other problems with my team. And that's why I think those of you who have the wildcard in play are in a great position, because you can have Trent, Robertson, Cancelo, Kane, Son, Kulusevski, etc., and still have a decent, bench, and you could be really loaded for those doubles, and you can also navigate one of those game weeks with a free hit, so you'd be in a good position. But in my case, I'd have to make too many transfers to get Harry Kane in. So unfortunately, I think I'm just going to stay put with Son and Kulusevski, and I'm going to just figure something else. So looking at something more realistic, so it just depends on what happens with Weghorst. We can do something like Mateta coming in for Weghorst here. Rafinha, so this is an interesting one. I think he could become Maddison and I can captain him, and I think I'd go that way. But I'm also keeping an eye on Son and Salah for the captaincy, not Saka because of Arsenal's form, although that could easily change. And then looking at this, Tierney could also become Fabian Schär as well. But either way, assuming everyone does start, I'd have pretty decent squad depth. So who do I bench from this team? So let's say, for example, Che Adams could come in for Reece James, or maybe Doherty in this case since he's injured, potentially. And Fabian Schär I'd want to start because of his double game week. So yeah, I could do something like this. I'm not sure about Broja. He is on my bench, so I could do something like this for a -4 hit, and I'd look pretty good. The alternative is to downgrade Maddison to Gordon, but I would prefer deadening my strikers rather than my midfielders. So let me know what you think of my plans. They're obviously very rough, and it could easily change based on tomorrow. If Weghorst starts, then I might just keep him in the end, despite how poor he is. So yeah, in terms of captaincy, I think I'd go for Maddison, and I could do something like this for a -4. It wouldn't look too bad, and long term, I still want to get Cancelo and Kane. It's very difficult for me to do so, unfortunately. So let me try skim through these questions. Unfortunately, we are still a bit far behind. Thank you very much to everyone who's decided to tune in today. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe for new. It's a bit of a quick stream today, and I appreciate everyone who's decided to tune in on such short notice. It's obviously much appreciated as always. I can't really say much else, but thank you very much. Will Vardy be back for Gameweek 33? I'm not too sure, because I think the other day it was reported that he was struggling to even kick a ball. So it doesn't really look that way at the moment. Imagine a captain Saka, what a week, wow. I think I remember yesterday you were asking if Saka's a good captaincy option, and I thought, yeah, he's a decent one. It's just I prefer other players, but I did not expect Arsenal to be that poor, to be fair. I have a love-hate relationship with Son. Today he's on my good side. Yeah, typically though, I'll be honest, whenever I've had Son, he's been very good to me. That's why I was a bit patient around Gameweek 29, when he was not really producing and Kane was damaging my overall rank. But yeah, Son, I don't really have that love-hate relationship with him in FPL. Mainly, let's say, in terms of football, because maybe of his diving, his antics, and also the Arsenal Spurs thing. But yeah, in terms of FPL, probably not for me, but I see what you mean. You've got to enjoy the points. Is doing Kilman to Schär White worth to bench Rudiger? I think it is worth it. Newcastle obviously kept a clean sheet. I'll be honest, I raised my hands up. I did not expect that. I thought Wolves were more likely to keep a clean sheet than Newcastle. A Wood penalty as well. Some of you, I think, benched Dubravka and also Schär and maybe Chris Wood. That's very unlucky. But yeah, I think it is worth it. Although you could just keep Rudiger, and if Arsenal play the way they did in the last two games, I think Chelsea win that easily. They could win by 2 or 3, and if they really go for the kill, it could be worse. Although I would expect Arsenal to put a bit more of a fight, I just don't really see Arsenal getting a result. Would you captain Bruno next game week? Good question. He's still a good captaincy shout, but because of how poor United are, I wouldn't. That doesn't mean he's a bad option though. You know, you don't want to be completely reactionary, but I personally would still go for Salah, Son from the single game weekers, and maybe go a bit different with a Leicester player. I just don't like what I'm seeing from United, but I would expect maybe a return against Norwich. Against Liverpool, I think they should wipe the floor with United. Captain Kane, and he's getting a stupid D out at the end of the game. Yeah, he's got back-to-back yellows, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously that's going to rub the salt in the wounds if you don't have Heung-min Son. Bench 2, I have Cancelo, Livramento, or Castagna. Honestly, I'd bench Livramento. It might sound crazy, but yeah, I wouldn't do it. And bench 2, nah, that is crazy. Maybe I'd bench Cancelo, but that's not really ideal. Is Diogo Jota a good option until the end of the season? Look, Jota's always a good option. The problem is the minutes, and you know he's going to share that with Diaz. That's the main issue. Otherwise, I would definitely recommend him for everyone, as I did all season. But he is a good option, but I think I'd rather go for Salah and double Liverpool defence. Son captain, finally something went well for me. Enjoy it. Obviously, you deserve it, and I did not expect it, to be fair, especially after the first half. Your team is so original. Okay, I'm guessing that's sarcastic. Thank you very much. 33 or 36 for the bench boost. I personally would say 36, but it depends on your team, to be fair. I feel I will never captain Saka again. To be fair, yeah, Saka's not really that type of player I'd like to captain, despite how good he's been this season. Not for me, but, you know, once again, I thought he'd do something. I thought he'd get a return, but yeah, last few weeks have been poor for him and Arsenal. I have a wild card, bench boost and free hit. I plan to wild card 34 and bench boost 36. I only have 4 double game week players for 33. Should I use my free hit? It depends, named. How many players do you have for 37? Because if you have 2 or 3 players in 37, and also if that City double falls into game week 37, I think it would be better suited to use the free hit there. So I don't know, I'd still be tempted to say 37, but 33 is not a bad idea. It's just I look at the teams like Leicester, yeah, I wouldn't mind tripling up on them, but they're not that reliable. Man United, they're facing Liverpool and they've just been shocking all season. So yeah, I don't mind having United players against Norwich, but it's not really something I'd be that keen on. I saw James just now. Fair enough. You know, typically this season, whenever Reece James has got a huge return, I would just buy him straight away and just be like, okay, let's see if you can do that in my team, and typically he doesn't. So sad, I took Mount out for Maddison, but captain Son. To be fair, I still think that's a good decision because Maddison's got plenty of doubles. Mount could still be rotated. Let's say Chelsea make a comeback against Real Madrid, which is possible. Then I would expect a bit of rotation there for Mount especially. And also the FA Cup, which let's wait and see what happens against Palace. I do like that Maddison move. It's a really big shame that it backfired in that way this week, but you never know. Let's see, what got Doherty for this game week and dude got injured. Is it serious? I'm not sure if it's season-ending serious, but I honestly have no idea. So obviously it's best if let's wait and see for the news, and also if anyone here has seen anything. But I don't think it's completely serious to rule him out for the rest of the season. Like I said earlier, I think he played on for 10 more minutes. So if it was proper bad, I don't think he would have been able to. Son hat-trick ended my season, dropped my rank to 20k. Seems like top 10k is out of reach already. I don't think it's already over. I mean, just as quickly as you fell out of the top 10k or further away, you could easily get back into it. Harry Kane was making the difference probably for you around game week 29. There's still a long way to go if you look at the amount of double game weeks, so not for me. Played Doherty and James Robertson. Feels bad. Yeah, I mean, that is really cruel because Doherty obviously only played 15 minutes or something like that, and James came on as a sub even though Chelsea were already winning by a huge margin and he didn't really contribute in terms of the goal. So I feel your pain, but Robertson, you never know, maybe he just gets a blank and you don't feel too bad, only lose out on a point. After seeing Kulusevski today, would you do Kulusevski to Maddison? Look, as much as I like Maddison, I probably wouldn't. I think yesterday I would have been more inclined. But just looking at Spurs' form right now and their fixtures, it's just really tough for me to back against them. If anything, I'd rather do Saka to Maddison. Or maybe get rid of one of the other midfielders instead. But yeah, right now, if you're looking at the last few games, Spurs are looking very good. Their attack is on form. And you'd rather back them and maybe sell someone like Saka instead. But it depends on your team. Saka captain here. Obviously, I feel your pain. Obviously, it's not really going to make you feel better, but I wish Saka was the one who got the points and Son blanked, despite the fact that I captain Son. But sometimes, these things happen. And Arsenal, they have quite a few bogey teams, as you can see. You said Watford. Crystal Palace and Brighton are 2 of them. But they are the front 2 for Burnley. Who would Weghorst come out for? Well, to be fair, that's a good point. I mean, I'm not too sure. They could play Cornet as a striker, but yeah, let's just wait and see. It's just very odd for McNeil to get rid of Weghorst for Jay Rodriguez, and they could change formation, to be fair. I think they scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken, against Everton once Weghorst came off, but maybe I could be completely wrong. I already answered that question, name. Should I sell Delap? Don't know why I bought him at the start at all. Delap, probably, but then again, strikers are pretty useless, if we're being honest. Ben White or James this week? That's a good question, actually. Maybe just Ben White for the double, but I'm not really expecting much. Son and Kulusevski, non-owners kill me. Yeah, I feel your pain. I felt similarly with Harry Kane in Game Week 29. Not having him was a killer. Sometimes you can't own everyone. That's basically it. If it was like F1 Fantasy where you can make multiple transfers every week, then maybe things would be a bit easier. But then again, you could also overcomplicate things. But I feel your pain. Sudindra puts his team. Should I free hit this team? So you've got Ramsdale double game week up, Roberts as well. Robertson is facing Man United, Laporte Brighton, James Arsenal, Kulusevski double game week. Sorry, not double game week. He's facing Brighton at home. Saka double game week. KDB. I wouldn't free hit that, Sudindra. Honestly, I'd probably rather free hit in 37 and bench boost in 36, mate. Hopefully Weghorst misses out so I get Gordon's 10-pointer. Good luck with that. And to be honest, I'm at the stage where I don't really care if Weghorst plays or not because he'll probably blank regardless. But good luck with that. I'll just say, even if he doesn't start, there is a possibility he comes on, especially if Burnley need a goal. Reece James, easy keep. If Chelsea go out of the Champions League, yeah, I think so too. It's just very frustrating, for him not to start a single game, but also, to a certain extent, understandable. I thought he would be benched for one of these games, not both. Hoping Emerson does better than Ramsdale so I get his points. Emerson does better than Ramsdale. Fair enough. Yeah, if you're starting Edison over Ramsdale, I mean, that's a good call in the end, probably. I don't think he'll get 1 point, but you never know. Liverpool are a great team. With regards to bringing in Nacho, have you heard how long Vardy is out for? I haven't heard exactly how long he's out for, but there is the possibility that he's out for the rest of the season. And the fact that he's struggling to even kick a ball and he's feeling constant pain and he just, he comes back against Burnley, he scores, and then he's out injured again. I think that's a really big alarm bell. So the main problem for Iheanacho is Daka and also the Conference League. So the more that Leicester progress, the less appealing that Iheanacho is. And either way, I do prefer Maddison and also Barnes. Triple Spurs attack is too much. I think 2 is the sweet spot, potentially long term, but I don't think it's too much actually. Right now, in terms of current form, you'd probably say no. The thing is, they don't really have that many doubles, only 36. So if I'm still being honest, yeah, maybe 2 is the sweet spot. You might be onto something there. And Spurs are still, capable of bottling it in certain games. I think they'll finish 4th anyway. I think it's pretty much done. But yeah, obviously the ideal one before Doherty's injury would have been him, maybe Son and Kane if you could afford it. But Kulusevski offers great value too. Ideally, you'd want 4, probably. But yeah, maybe you disagree with that. What do you think of Odegaard? I don't think he's a great option anyway. Obviously, it's a great goal, but I still think Saka's the best from the Arsenal midfielders. Not for me. I wouldn't go for Odegaard. Welcome, George. Let's see. Yeah, in terms of what you see on screen, that is just my team with a few transfers. It's not a free hit. I wouldn't go for certain players. But honestly, for most people, I think some of these single gimmick players you wouldn't want to get rid of. And if you're free hitting, you'd probably just stack up on double game weekers, and it might not actually outscore, the Sons of this world, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, Salah, Trent, etc. So I'd be very cautious about free hitting this week, and I think I'm going to use it in 37, especially from what I've seen so far this week. Any Leicester defender who is nailed? I mean, normally it's Fofana, but right now I would say Timothy Castagna. But it's very difficult, Leicester defenders I'm not really a big fan of. I think Schmeichel's just the best coverage defensively for Leicester. Maddison and for Saka, I think that's a good move to be fair. But it depends on which other midfielders you have. If you have Rafinha, I would do that instead and keep Saka. I still think he's a good option. Hello, Dylan. Mount has got the 4th most goal involvements in the Prem after Salah, Son. Yes, I'm not too surprised by that, to be fair. I know it sounds a bit shocking. He's had quite a lot of blanks. A lot of his goals basically have come against Watford, Norwich, Burnley, and I think Southampton. But, he's getting the goals and assists from time to time. Those who have him for those hauls, fair play. Enjoy the points. The best 2 players for Game Week 33? The best 2 players, that's a good question. I think I would still say maybe Bruno Fernandes and Maddison if you're really targeting the doublers, but it's tough to say that really when you see how bad United are. I think Maddison, Barnes are up there, definitely. Good evening to you as well, Eduardinho. Thank you very much for tuning in. Suggest Odegaard, Cornet, Martinelli, Barnes, James Ward-Prowse, Fraser in order. I'd still say Barnes first. Second, I'd go for Fraser. Third, Martinelli. Fourth, I'd maybe go for Cornet. And fifth, James Ward-Prowse. I really like James Ward-Prowse's form before. Around December, January. But yeah, I think I'd order it that way. Hopefully you got that. My current rank is 45k too. That's really good, Eduardinho. Hopefully we can push on even more, but fair play, and hopefully you keep on getting those green arrows. Worth getting Man United players. They look poor but could potentially have a back-to-back double. True, that is the other thing to consider. They could have a double in 34 with Chelsea, as you rightly say, so that's a really good point. But United could have a triple game week and I'd still be apprehensive about bringing them in. That's the bottom line, really. And they still would offer good value. Potentially Bruno or Ronaldo could be a good purchase, but I saw a few people actually talk about Telles, which is a good idea, but it's just I can't really trust these United assets. I think Bruno or Ronaldo, maybe have one. I really wouldn't triple up on United, even if they had back-to-back doubles, personally. What would you do with Martinelli? It's tricky because, would you downgrade to another cheaper midfielder and use that money to upgrade the rest of your team? You could do that. Or you could go to Maddison. I think if you have enough money, I'd go to someone like Maddison if you don't have him already and stack up on those double game weekers and still have Kulusevski, etc. I think that's the two alternatives. I don't think keeping Martinelli is a bad thing. He also has that double in 36. If you're looking to bench boost, he could be a really good enabler in your team. Kane 36, his fixtures are bad, will be better options that week. I still think he's the best though. If you look at all the forwards, he's the only one that's showing consistency. And against Arsenal, come on. I mean, look at how Arsenal are playing right now. They don't have Tierney or Partey, which is not only bad for them offensively, but also defensively. They're looking like a shambles. They've conceded 5 goals without reply. I honestly think Kane is actually still a good captaincy option even, although I'd probably go for Salah. But yeah, I think Kane is easily top 3. Probably still the best option up front against Arsenal and Liverpool. Barnes or Kulusevski for the rest of the season? Look, once again, I'd probably say Kulusevski just for the form. He's been probably the best January signing this season. He's made such an impact at Spurs. I'd say Kulusevski. I had planned for free hit 33. Southampton United performances make me question the plan. Exactly, and that's why I was quite happy to roll the transfer. I wanted to have as much flexibility as possible, so I could decide to free hit in the end based on what I've seen. Look, football isn't that simple. It's not just because Southampton United played poorly in Game Week 32. That doesn't mean they're going to do the same in 33. They might bounce back. But look, I just don't really like the players and the teams and the fixtures really in Game Week 33. I prefer 37, and that's why I'm looking to free hit there at the moment. What's the best sub for Coutinho? Maddison and Barnes are really good ones if you don't have Kulusevski as well. But I think Maddison's probably the simpler one. Should I free hit in 33? I have wildcard also. Honestly, once again, I wouldn't free hit that teammate. Let me try to get your name right. Mukherjee. Hopefully I got that right. But yeah, I wouldn't free hit in 33. I'd wildcard in 34 and potentially free hit in 37. KDB or Son? Son. And I've said this before, I'm not just reacting based on his amazing performance today. I said this, yesterday, I believe, as well. Thanks, Dylan. Good luck with the rest of the season. I think you can reach into the top 30 or 20k. Yeah, I think top 10k is probably beyond my reach, but basically where I am now is an improvement on last season, and that's ultimately the main aim. I made quite a few mistakes this season and also been on the receiving end of huge, and I mean huge, let's say swings in the other favour. So, let's just wait and see. I'm not particularly happy with my rank, but at the same time, considering where I was a few weeks ago, you got to take it. And good luck to you as well, Sudindra. Hopefully you get the rank you want. I have a feeling Maddison's not going to play much this game week due to the Europa games. Yeah, fair enough. That is a possibility. But I think long term he's a good purchase. So even if he's benched for one of these games, it's completely fine, mate. Cornet, Maddison, St-Maximin in for Saka, Rafinha, Weghorst. I wouldn't actually do Saka to Cornet. I'd still prefer Saka. That's just my take on it. But Maddison and St-Maximin look decent. Especially that Maddison move. Rafinha to Maddison looks like a great move. Rafinha to Maddison, Tierney to Share for a -4. Yes, I'm looking to do something similar. I think that's great, Golden Boys. I personally would recommend it. I actually like Share at the moment. He's offering really good value at his price. Let me just see how far away I am, by the way. Okay, I'm kind of catching up. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to answer every question before, so apologies. I'll try to get through everything. Thoughts on Jay Rodriguez, 5.2 million and playing better than Weghorst and has a lot of doubles coming. I still prefer Mateta and Kucho, but from the Burnley attackers, I think you're onto something. He's probably the one to go for. Weghorst's stats have been awful, so he also saves more money, Jay Rodriguez. So yeah, I think that's actually a fair shout. I just don't like Burnley that much, and why did I get Weghorst? That's a great question. Just for the doubles, really. I would personally go for Mateta or Kucho, though. Let's see, what else do we have? Is it okay to change Havertz to Maddison for a -4? As much as Havertz has been in insane form, I think it is worth it with the double in mind, but once again, I'd actually try to find another way to get that move done. Maybe Rafinha to Maddison, for example, Teza. Amati or Broja, who to bench? I would bench Amati. I'd rather start Broja, I think. Earlier plan was to free hit 33, wildcard 34 and bench boost 36. Feel like wildcard 33, free hit 36 and bench boost 37. What do you think? That's not a bad shout actually, but look at how many doubles there are in 36. I just think that facilitates the bench boost more. It's easier to get a 50-man squad full of doublers. So I would still bench boost then. And in free hit 37, you could get these City players like Kevin De Bruyne. You can triple up maybe Foden and Cancelo. And you don't need them for the rest of the season, basically. And they might be rotated in those other games. Obviously, that's quite unlikely if they're still going to go down to the wire with Liverpool. But basically, that's obviously assuming their double goes to 37, by the way. But I think those teams that are doubling in 37, like Villa, for example, really good for 1 week. I'm not too sure if you'd want them in the long term, Coutinho, Cash, etc. So I would still free it in 37, bench boost in 36. You could wildcard in 33. I think that's not a bad shout. But if you're already well set up for 33, then maybe you could just wildcard in 34, basically, Sharia. But you might be onto something with the wildcard in 33, actually. If I can't get Salah, which Liverpool attacker is worth it until the end of the season? Quite difficult to say. I wouldn't recommend Mane because I just don't think he's worth the money. Probably Diaz or Jota. Right now, it looks like Diaz is playing Champions League and Jota in the Premier League, but that could easily change. So, difficult one. I'd go for one of those, Jota or Diaz, and I think I'd maybe go for Jota, Sudindra. Which team to target Game Week 33? I think Leicester is the main one. United as well, maybe with one or two. I would not triple up on United. I just don't think it's worth it. Although they could double in 34 as well, as Tech XEO, I think it was, rightly pointed out. So yes. Sell Barnes to Maddison. I don't think I'd do that personally. If you have him, just keep him. The same goes for selling Maddison for Barnes. I just would stick with what you have. Although Maddison in recent weeks has looked a bit better. Mbeumo or Eriksen or Sarr? Good question. Mbeumo has looked good recently, but I think I'd go for Eriksen out of the lot. When keeping Son pays off, yeah, sometimes patience is a virtue. In recent seasons, one thing that I wasn't good at is keeping the faith and also being patient. I probably would have, last season or 2 seasons ago, I would have gotten rid of Son for Kane, and I would have basically probably been out of the top 100k completely. Yeah, once again, mate, I think Lacazette is a sell, as I said earlier, and I said this in my transfer tips video as well before the Brighton game. I even told people, in certain situations, of course, to bench Lacazette because I just don't see him scoring, and that's pretty much it. Are you rating teams today? Not necessarily. Obviously, if you put your team in the chat, I'll try to go through them, but I'm not going to put them on screen, basically. What I'm showing on screen right now is just my team, my plans. So basically, to recap, it's a -4. Maddison will come in for Rafinha, and I'd make 2 other transfers, potentially Weghorst to Mateta, if Weghorst is benched tomorrow, and the other move would be Fabian Schär for Tierney. But I'm still open-minded, and what I could also do is just keep Weghorst anyway, because I think I have enough money regardless. Yeah, I do, so I don't even need to take a -4. So I could do something like this, and let's say, for example, play Fabian Schär. I don't know who for, to be fair. Maybe Reece James. Do I do that? I don't know. But yeah, that's how my team could look like with just 2 free transfers. And honestly, I don't think I need to free hit. I don't think it's necessary. Maybe I don't even need to take hits, especially because I've already got a bit of a benching dilemma with Reece James, Broja, and if Dottie's fit. If he's on the bench as well, it's a bit of a tricky one. But let me know what you guys think of this team. There will be plenty of content throughout the week. I'm going to be talking about the best free hit team for Game Week 33, which is going to be very popular for some people. I'll be talking about the best wildcard team, transfer tips, the team selection, and much more. UCL Fantasy, let me know if any of you do watch or play UCL Fantasy. Do you want to see the best limitless team and wildcard team? Because obviously, it's the reversal of fixtures from Game Week 9 or Matchday 9. So do you want to see that again? There might be a few changes, but I can't really promise that. So let me know what you think of that as well. Hey, Dylan, could you scroll up to my question? Yeah, okay. Sure thing, Harry. I'll try to. Okay, I think I just saw it. Evening, mate. Activated the free hit. Is it important to go with the best players or favour double Game Week players? Tempted to go Son, Kane, Salah and Trent. That's a great question. With the free hit, though, I think you want a mixture, which is not sitting on the fence, even though it sounds like it. I would still go, personally, for Son, Kane and Salah if you can, but maybe not Trent, which does sound a bit weird because Liverpool are probably, they've got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet against United. But basically, I wouldn't fill my team with single game weekers, but also I wouldn't, fill out with double game weekers potentially. It's really tricky though, because with a free hit, you really want to maximise the doublers, and no matter how bad United are, they've got 2 games. They can perform in one of them and maybe be trash in the other. So it's quite tough. I would still favour the doublers slightly more, but when you look at United, Leicester, it doesn't really inspire you, does it? So once I make my free hit team, I want to think about it. I want to give it a good think. Then you'll see my definitive answer, basically, because it might be different to what I'm saying right now. But, right now, I think I'd say try to get a balance. But I will give it a good think, and then I'll show you, in my opinion, the best free hit team for 33, which maybe could be wrong. Sometimes the single game makers like Salah and Son could easily outscore these players. Thank you, Golden Boys, once again. Dylan is so frustrating having Kane, seeing him come second to Son in terms of goals. The thing is, though, it was the reversal just a few weeks ago, and Kane is still getting points. He's got 7 assists. Let me just get the stats up for you. They're incredible still for both of them. And if we look at the underlying numbers, like the XG and the XA, Kane is still superior. Both of them have played 6 games. What Kane does have in his advantage, or to his advantage, should I say, is the minutes. Son does get taken off a bit earlier, but look at that. Son 7 goals and 1 assist. Kane has more goal contributions, but remember, a midfielder gets the clean sheet point, which Spurs have been doing from time to time, and also an extra point for scoring a goal. So Harry Kane needs to do more to outscore Son. If they both score a goal, Son is going to score more points in most cases. He's also a bonus points machine. To be fair, both of them are, but Kane got 3 assists today and he didn't get a single bonus point, which speaks volumes. 7 big chances for for Kane, 6 for Son. Quite identical in that regard. Right now, Son is still getting, very good chances, but a few weeks ago, he wasn't really getting those, and the underlying numbers were even worse than what you see on screen. But football isn't all about stats, I always say this, and when you have the calibre of player of Kane or Son, you always have a chance, and that's why, ever since, especially from Monday, I'm just absolutely convinced that Spurs are finishing top 4 because they've got these 2 world-class players that can make the difference. Arsenal don't have that. United don't, or at least they don't have those players that are doing it consistently. So there you go. Let me know what you think of this. And actually, let's put a poll out. I want to see how people are thinking about this right now. But obviously, the ideal thing would be to have both. But who would you prefer, Son or Kane? Let's see how different that is, because I think a few weeks ago in Gameweek 29, it would have been 70% Kane for sure. So let's do this quick poll. We could do other polls, by the way. Let me know if you want to see something in particular. For some reason, it's not letting me do this. Who do you prefer? Yeah, Kane or Son? All right, we'll try to go through the other questions as well. Apologies for maybe being a bit delayed here. Will Mateta double in 36? I'm pretty sure he is. I'll double check that for you, but I'm pretty sure Palace do double in 36. Although I could be mistaken, actually. And I think they could have a double in 34 or 35 instead. So I'll double check that for you. Captain Bowen over Son. Look, you don't know what's going to happen yet, but it's very unlikely that Bowen will outscore him. But hopefully it goes well for you, mate. Hopefully it does. Rafinha to Barnes and Cody to Laporte -4 worth it? To be fair, Mirza, I think it is. If you already have a good starting 11, though, you could maybe avoid the Cody to Laporte transfer. But to be fair, it makes sense to do it now. Cody blanks and you'd rather have Laporte for the rest of the season. So yeah, I do think it's worth it, Mirza. Would you start Pope or Ramsdale? I think I'd still start Ramsdale, but my confidence and loyalty is shaking for sure. Kucha came off injured today, Dylan. Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough. That is a good point. I didn't take that into account. And either way, at least from Monday, I kind of swung the other way in the pendulum towards Mateta. But hopefully Kucha's injury isn't too bad, but a hamstring injury could be a few weeks, unfortunately. Best free hit side for 33. There's going to be a video on that specifically. I might make a draft now, but yeah, it wouldn't be definitive, I think. I could change quite a lot by the time I make the video. Gameweek 33 double, Leicester, Barnes, Maddison, or Maddison, Kulusevski versus Brighton. I would rather have Maddison and Kulusevski, because for me personally, Kulusevski is a better option than Barnes. So yeah, Brian, I would do that. Maybe in Gameweek 33, Kulusevski doesn't do that well, but long term he's the better option for me. Free hit 33, this is my team, says Jack. Once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I don't think you need to free hit that. And I think with 1 or 2 transfers, you could easily get, an even better team. You could get Maddison or Barnes in midfield, and you could have a very solid team. If you have Rafinha, for example, I'm guessing you don't, then yeah, you could easily swap him out for Maddison or Barnes. So that team looks good, Jack. I think you could maybe free hit in 36 or 37. Is Salah to Son worth it now? Look, it's not a bad transfer, but I don't know. I just don't think I would do it personally. It is worth it potentially, but I just wouldn't do it. I'd rather have both. Liverpool, City to win the league. I think I'd still say City, but Liverpool have the momentum for sure. But I'd still lean towards City. Havertz, sell or hold? Hold, I think, yes. Evening to you as well, Alex. I'm doing well. What about you? Thank you for tuning in, mate. Will you do a best wildcard team for 34? Yes. I will do as well. I'll probably do a wildcard team for 33 as well. Just for those of you that might want to go about it differently. Because you can also tackle 33, get more doublers potentially. And yeah, you're going to be well set up for the rest of the season. And there could be one for 34. The same goes for the free hit in 33. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of content, mate. I had Pickford, Burn and Gordon 28 points on my bench. Wow, that is... Look, honestly, I did not expect any of them, especially Gordon and Pickford, to return. So that's just really unlucky, mate. The Gordon goal was very fortunate. United were just dreadful, and how many clean sheets do Everton keep right now? Very, very few. Yes, the UCL fantasy videos are helpful. Please continue posting. Thank you, Tezza. Yeah, there's going to be... I'm not sure exactly when, but I'll try to get a team selection video up by Monday, and there could be a Limitless and Wildcard team video, which is, I'm guessing, what you're responding to, but I'm quite far behind in terms of the chat, trying to get through everything. Yes, I see it's extremely tricky. City have a great game versus Brighton, but we'll have to avoid them to cater for double gaming players. Thanks for the help. I think I would avoid City anyway, but I would go for Cancelo if you can, Harry. That's the player I would go for if you were to pick one from City. I could just basically say, you know what, the rest you don't really need. Will Mateta double in 36? So yeah, let me check this. So I don't want to get this wrong for you. So apologies for this. So yeah, as you can see, this is my team right now in Gameweek 36. Let's just check this. But I think I was wrong. I think I was actually wrong. Yeah, Palace right now don't have a double in 36. But it ultimately depends on the FA Cup result against Chelsea. I think it could be moved to 34 or 35 if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, then correct me. I definitely would appreciate that. So yeah, they don't have a double in 36 right now. Yeah, the double is in 37. That's what it was. And that's what I mean. I think Crystal Palace options like Mateta offer great value until the end of the season, but you could triple up on Palace on a free hit in 37. They face Villa and Everton away. I think that's a pretty decent double. In my opinion, Palace are a better team than both of them. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So yeah, I think something like that looks pretty decent. So yeah, apologies for that, Coopsy. That's my bad. There's so many doubles, so many teams that sometimes I just get them confused. That's my bad. Unless the defender for the upcoming game weeks. Honestly, look, I'd love to recommend one. Maybe Castagna, but I'm not a big fan of most of them. Maybe Justin as well. I did well in this game week. Thanks for you, Dylan. I'm not sure about that, Mohammed, but thank you very much. Ultimately, you have to make the decisions and make the transfers, but I appreciate that. Hi, Dylan. What do you think about King to Broja versus Rudiger to Share versus Saka to Maddison? Honestly, look, I don't know if I'd get Broja. I'd rather have Mateta or Cucho, once he recovers from his injury. So yeah, I'd rather go for Mateta despite the fact that Broja doubles because, yeah, I just don't like Southampton right now. They're on the beach, really. And Mateta is playing in a better team, better fixtures, has a double in 37 as well. So honestly, look, they all look like good transfers potentially, but I would mainly focus on King to Mateta if you can, mate. Broja's not bad though. He got booked in injury time, -1 and probably a -1 for the bonus points as well. Yeah, exactly. Those yellow cards aren't helping at all. Kane, because forwards are garbage and midfielders are stacked. Yeah, and as you can see, Kane is winning, but only just in this poll. 81 of you have voted here. Yeah, Palace don't double in 36, exactly. Thank you very much, Singh. What transfers should I make? Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, James, White, Doherty, Kulusevski, Saka, Son, or Salah, Sancho, Kane, bench, Mateta, Gordon, Broja. I have one free transfer. Okay, that's interesting. I think if Doherty is out, that's the one I'd mainly focus on. And what you could do is get Share in for Doherty. But that is only if Doherty is out, owned by M. That's one that screams out to me. Yeah, keep Sancho for the double, but he's not someone I like long term. He was pretty poor again today, in my opinion. And he hasn't really had a great season. Best replacement for Lacazette. Once again, I don't want to sound like a broken tape, but probably Mateta. And if not, maybe Iheanacho. Just bear in mind there could be rotation with Daka. And if Vardy is back ahead of schedule, then that could be an issue. But I'd recommend one of those. I have Kane, but if Salah's gone for Son... yeah, okay, fair enough. But Salah against United and Everton, I'd like to keep him for that, personally. I have Saka, Kulusevski, Salah, Maddison and Mount. Who would you remove for Sonny? That is really tough. Despite his haul today, I'd say either Mount or Saka. That's what I would do, Gitonga. Bonus added, by the way. Thank you very much. I'll now show you what my team looks like with the bonus points, just because we haven't shown it today. So as you can see, 68 points, a pretty healthy green arrow. For some reason on here it says I'm 50k, but on the other I think it says I'm 45, so maybe I need to update that as well. Maybe livefpl.net doesn't have the full thing, but yeah, here you go. So Son captaincy, as you can see, crazy score. One of my best captaincy hauls of the season, probably the best if you look at the effective ownership. So yeah, he's up there. Kulusevski with 12 points, it's absolutely incredible. Doherty would have been on for maybe even a clean sheet and an assist. You never know, or a goal. That's the form he was in. Rafinha with a double-digit return. I mean, that looks so rare, by the way. Just drink it in, as Chris Jericho says. Look at that, 10 points for Rafinha. That is crazy. Reece James disappointing. Ramsdale as well. Saka, who also got booked, by the way, for diving. And Salah, Weghorst, Trent, Robertson, and that's pretty much it. Those are the ones left, and maybe Che Adams comes off the bench. So that's my performance in Game Week 32 so far. Thank you, Golden Boys, for letting me know. Do you think double Game Week 36 and 37 is better than 33? Definitely. 36 has more doubles and of higher quality, and even 37. Not that many doubles in terms of quantity, but I think they have better quality ones, and also it facilitates a free hit a bit more because you can just get these players in for that game week specifically, and then you don't really need them for the rest of the season. Yeah, Doherty replacements, I think Fabian Schär, just like Tierney last week. If you already did that, you did Tierney to Schär or something like that, then that's where it gets a bit more interesting. I would still want to get those Liverpool fullbacks, Cancelo, a Chelsea defender maybe like Rudiger or Reece James. Otherwise, maybe a Leicester defender, but my preference would be Fabian Schär. Just go for those cheaper ones. Arsenal defenders I can't really make a case for going for right now with those injuries and problems. Salah, Willock, Doherty to Son, Maddison, Schär. I like those moves, but I'm a bit apprehensive about getting rid of Salah. So wait for tomorrow, see his performance, and then let's wait and see. Saka at left back. It was mainly Xhaka at left back today, but they're removing, we're already kind of depleted in midfield, and then you're removing Xhaka as well. That midfield is just awful. Lokonga is basically the sole pivot, Odegaard playing deeper. It's just not going to work. So yeah, Arsenal need to find a solution quick to those problems, otherwise they could even struggle to finish top 6 personally. Salah will score twice tomorrow. Let's wait and see. That would be pretty interesting, to be fair. Yep, thank you, Michael, as well, for letting me know that there's bonus points added. Thank you very much. Do you think Everton will stay up? That's tough. It's between them and Burnley, I think. I think yes. But then again, if they lost to United today, especially if it was a convincing loss, then maybe I would have, not been as sure. But I don't know. They're still in big trouble. They're still in really big trouble. And the fact they lost to Burnley as well, that was a huge game. They've got a 4-point cushion, but it could have been 6-7 if they hadn't have lost. Got Kane and Doherty. Should Kulusevski or Son be the priority transfer, or Foden? Yes, I would go for one of those players for sure. Kulusevski probably offers better value than Son, but Son's effective ownership and also his explosiveness is really tricky. The only thing is, obviously, for those that have Son and Kane, who do you even captain? Because, for a period of time, it looks like Kane is by far the better option, but then Son. So it kind of goes in circles. Both of them are great, basically, so you cover both of them in a good way. But yeah, I would go for Kulusevski or Son. Either of them would be very good. Maybe Kulusevski is better for your kind of squad structure. Well, me captaining Salah out of spite went well. Yeah, but you never know. He could get a brace, although it still probably won't, be anywhere near Son's. But let's wait and see. Football's a funny game. Bowen or Leicester midfielder? Maybe make a poll. Personally, I've always said this. I think Bowen's a better FPL asset. But if you count the double game weeks and the quality of fixtures, I think Maddison and Barnes arguably better. I think I'd still go for Maddison just for the doubles and the quality of the fixtures. Otherwise, it's Bowen easily. No problem, Hansa. Once again, it's your decision, but I personally only captain Son because I don't have Kane. I probably would have gone Kane, and I said this all week. Son has more non-penalty goals than Salah in the Premier League this season. That is crazy, and I think Salah only has one open play goal since February, which is mind-boggling. Even we always talked about the triple captaincy in 26 for Salah. 2 of his returns were penalties out of the 3, or 2 of his 3 goals, should I say, were penalties. So there you go. Sometimes you need that stroke of luck. Is Bowen still a relevant option? Yes, of course he's relevant. He's a great option still. But because of the doubles and the sheer number of options you have, even Kulusevski, who has 1 double left this season, I think I'd rather go there. But Bowen's great. In terms of his value and his consistency, he's unrivaled around his price. Really want the City fixture to fall in 37. Exactly. I think a free hit in 37 could be incredible, but then we could also be burned by Pep Roulette, as I kind of was in Gameweek 27 with my free hit, getting Mahrez in, which was always risky. So yeah, but it would look incredible, wouldn't it? Probably I'd go for double City defence just because I know they're going to start, and maybe KDB up front or Foden, but that's obviously a matter for another time, and things can change. Who's the best captaincy option for double Gameweek 33? From the double Gameweekers, I'd still go for Bruno, Ronaldo, Maddison, potentially Barnes as well. So those four would be right up there. From the single Gameweekers, Son, Kane and Salah. That's the way I'd go about it. I'm not sure about ranking them though, but Maddison would be in my top 3, I think, although that might be a mistake. So yeah, already shown you my Gameweek 32 performance. Let's focus more on Gameweek 33. Once again, a bit of a funny week this one. Let's show you a few more things though, actually. So we'll talk about this as well in the deadline stream next week. So price rises, not really that much to talk about. Dewsbury Hall's about to go up. A lot of people may be downgrading Rafinha to Dewsbury Hall or making moves like that. And as you can see, Weghorst is going down now a little bit. So he was projected to go up, but now people are getting cold on him at the moment. But yeah, Arsenal, Burnley players kind of going up as well. And in terms of players going down, Ben Mee, because he's injured, of course, Pulisic, Martinez. Wow, I mean, Martinez, what a drop-off from last season. Same with Aston Villa defence. But yeah, nothing interesting actually in terms of price rises. So do not rush your transfers, in my opinion. Unless you're going to be priced out of a move like Kulusevski or Son and you want them long-term, do not make early transfers. You know, we've got the Champions League again this week. I just don't think it makes any sense to, you know, be in a rush if you're not going to be priced out. So that's the way I see it. And let's show you the predicted points. So Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo both joint highest. So the algorithm predicts them to be the highest scoring player and the best captaincy option. Chris Wood is up there. Harvey Barnes, Iheanacho, Rashford, Saint-Maximin, Maddison, Joelinton, Lacazette, all up there. And it's all because of the double game weeks. Martinelli, Albrighton, Weghorst, Saka, Dubravka, Sancho, Pope, Adams, Ramsdale, Odegaard. I've already got a few of these players, but my faith in all of them is a bit shaken. You know, Ramsdale, I just don't think he's as good of an option as he was before. Che Adams he had a bit of good form before, but now just not showing any consistency. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just go back to my FPL.team, my transfer plans. Things can change, by the way. I'm also going to see what happens tomorrow. That could also influence what I end up doing, because if Weghorst is benched, I might get rid of him in the end as well. So only time will tell, basically. So yeah, answer that one as well. For this week, Silva, Cancelo, Saka, Maddison, or both for a -4. I think Silva to Cancelo is just my favourite move, mate. So I would do that, Andrew. I think that's just a high upside move too in the long term. I'm wildcarding in Gameweek 34, plan to free in 33, but United and Southampton performances worry me. Don't think I would take out Spurs against Brighton. Number of doublers you would consider? Yeah, I think I answered this question already. I think I'd go maybe for 5 or 6 if you were free hitting. You know, I'd probably go for 7 or 8. But yeah, without the free hit, you could easily get to 5 or 6 and you'd probably be happy with that. I don't think you need to really focus on this double, because a lot of these single game weekers are of the quality and have good fixtures that they could easily outscore most of the doublers. That's the way I see it. Thank you, Golden Boys. Rafinha to Kulusevski, I think that's a great move. I'd do it, Jack, honestly. Thank you for the super chat, Garrison. Once again, your legend. Thank you very much, mate. Kulusevski or Doherty for Kane? Oh, is this to get Kane? Okay, so yeah, I would get rid of Doherty probably. The only thing is, if you have Son as well, you've got a triple up in Spurs attack, which might be a bit excessive. It will obviously pay off in weeks like this, but it won't always be the case. The thing is, it ultimately depends on Doherty's fitness. So if he's out, even if it's only for a week or two, I would do the -4 and get Harry Kane in that way. Yeah, 1 second. I think I'm 50k right now, actually, if we check now. By the way, keep smashing the like button. Let's get to 100 likes. Obviously, a bit of a quick stream today, but it's much appreciated. Let me get livefpl.net up. I think I've got it. Yes. All right, so let's go back to this screen and let's refresh the page. So, no, yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. It says I'm 45k. I'm not sure why, because on FPL it says I'm 50k, so maybe it hasn't fully refreshed, but yeah, it says I'm 45,000 basically. So there's not much of a difference from what I put on screen, was there? But yeah, let's go back to my FPL.team. But as you can see there, yeah, pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think there's just a few difference in rank in terms of like maybe 7. Maybe I'm 7 lower than what it says, but pretty much just updated rank, I'm pretty sure. Werner a buy? No. Yeah, he had a great performance today. I think he even scored against Southampton, not even last season, earlier this season, but no, not for me. I wouldn't go for him. Let's see. Rafinha to Kulusevski, yes. Jack, I think that's a good move. Thoughts on getting Alonso? No. That one haul, that performance is not going to change my mind. Look, he's not bad, but I wouldn't get him in. Thoughts on selling Saka? I think it's a debate to be had. I would rather sell Saka than Kulusevski, despite the fact that Arsenal have a double. Why Onani isn't starting in midfield instead of Lokonga since Partey is injured? To be honest, they're both average. Lokonga is a young player who could improve, but even if Elneny played, I just don't really see, how Arsenal would have won that midfield battle. Losing Partey and then having Xhaka move to the midfield, not even the midfield, to the left back position is just, Arsenal are really easy to get through. Robertson to Laporte for the rest of the season. I have Trent, need funds. Fair enough. I'd actually rather keep Robertson and sell Trent personally, but, there's not much to split them. Kane and Son deserve trophies. I don't... Look, in terms of their individual brilliance, they deserve more, but, it's a team effort, and they're playing in a team that ultimately just aren't good enough to win trophies, so they have to move somewhere else. If they want to win trophies, it's easy. Just leave Tottenham. That's basically it. Free hit wildcard 33 or later. I would free hit in Gameweek 37, probably. You have the bench boost, bench boost 36, and probably free hit in 37, mate. Your team looks good. I mean, look at that. You've got plenty of doublers already. You've got Dubravka on the bench. You could arguably start him over Ramsdale, actually. Yeah, I would probably free hit in 37. I don't think you need to. If Weghorst is out, you could make a transfer there, get rid of him, but honestly, that team is good, and you don't want to get rid of those single game week players like Kane, Kulusevski, Salah, etc. Do you think Arsenal will bottle it again? I don't think they're finishing top 4, and it's not just because they lost to Palace and also today, it's the injuries. Partey and Tierney, that shouldn't be used as an excuse, by the way, because every team does get injuries, but it's at such a crucial time of the season, and Arsenal's record without Partey is like a 30% win record. Now it's probably gone under 30%, and with Partey it's around 65%. So I don't think Arsenal finish in top 4. I think they might even struggle to finish top 5 or 6. So should I sell Saka? I still think Saka's a decent option though, but yes, you could. And once again, I'd rather sell Saka than Kulusevski or even Maddison, etc. Which goalkeeper to target for 33? I'd say Schmeichel or Dubravka. I'd go for one of those two. I'm feeling really cold on Arsenal and Ramsdale right now. Whom? Kane and Son, all of them. I think Captain Kane, including me also. Exactly. I think everyone who had both, or the majority, would have gone for Kane, and it makes sense. Thank you to everyone who voted in the poll, by the way. We'll put another one, by the way. Let's put another one, like Maddison or Barnes. So, pick one. Let's do something simple. So, just see your opinions on this as well, and let you guys interact. But pick one for your FPL team, of course. Maddison or Barnes. Not much to split them there. Let's see, what else do we have? Already got Son, so would be a double up. Garrison, I think that's good. I still would go for it. I would probably go for I'd get rid of Doherty, but obviously let's wait and see. But Kulusevski's value right now is insane. Once again, I don't think Werner's a buy. I wouldn't do that. Saka to Maddison, worth it. Rest of the midfielders, Salah, Havertz, Kulusevski and Son. Yes, or I'd sell Havertz, despite how good Havertz is, and I talked about getting him in on the wildcard in Gameweek 31. So, it is worth it. Would you sell Salah, Saka for Luis Diaz and Sonny? That's a really good question. I don't think I would, because I'm not sure if Diaz starts in the Premier League. It could be Jota, and then Diaz plays in, for example, the Champions League and FA Cup. That could be the way they go. Or it's just kind of one game each, and you get some cameo appearances. Look, as good as Diaz has been for Liverpool, I don't think he's enough cover for Salah. And obviously Saka to Son is a great upgrade, but I'd find another way. Expected Son to rise immediately. I think once we update it or refresh the page in a few hours' time, Son is probably destined to go up. My faith also shaken with recent results. I wanted to free hit in 33, but now I may hold. Exactly. And look, I was open-minded to free hitting in 33. And in my team selection, I said either 33 or 37 is likely, but I want to see how things pan out in Gameweek 32 and also what else, arises. And what I've seen so far just makes me convinced about free hit 37. And even in my deadline stream, before we even seen any football in Gameweek 32, I was actually looking at it and thinking, you know what? A free in 37 just looks good anyway, at least for my team. Suggest in order. I mean, obviously, Chris Wood scored that penalty, but I just don't think he's a great option anyway. Looking at those options, I think I would go Iheanacho first, say Maximan second, Adams third, Broja fourth, Wood fifth, Weghorst sixth. I think I'd go for something like that. Maybe Wood should be a bit higher. That's what I would argue, but I think Weghorst is probably the worst of the lot. Is Cornet a good replacement for Gordon? Honestly, I'd rather keep Gordon. Cornet got a nice return in Game Week 31, but not for me. I don't think I'd go for him. Best double Game Week player before wildcard 34, Maddison. I think Maddison or Barnes is up there, and maybe Bruno, but mainly I'd go for the Leicester players. And also Castagna. If you want like a 1 week punt, I think Castagna could be really good in defence. Iheanacho up front potentially. How Son is way cheaper than KDB and Bruno is mind-boggling. Yeah, I think Son should have started the season at least at 11 million, especially after his partner in crime antics with Harry Kane last season. They were the dynamic duo. I'm very surprised as well. Sell Saka for Barnes? I probably wouldn't actually. I think I'd keep Saka. Doherty to Share or Amati? Share, easily. I don't even know if Amati's going to start. Share for sure. People are regarding Arsenal now. How Chelsea were being regarded this morning. Look, this is the thing. I've still been saying today I would keep Saka, but I'd rather, keep Kulusevski over Saka, if you know what I mean. The thing is, Arsenal's last 2 performances have been dreadful, and not only that, their fixture running is quite difficult, from now on. These 2 games that just happened were supposed to be the wins. And also, on top of all of that, apart from the poor performances and the results, you've got 2 key injuries to key players, obviously, Tierney and Partey. And Tierney's injury significantly impacts Saka as well, especially when Saka shifts to the left from time to time and they combine. Yeah, I just don't really see Arsenal recovering. They could maybe produce a shock result or get some results against United, etc. But I just don't see it right now. Doherty to Justin, I think that's not a bad move, but I don't know. If Doherty is out, I'd rather get Share, actually. Which Leicester players are worth targeting? Maddison, Barnes, Castagna, and Iheanacho. And of course, Schmeichel in goal. Dean to Share? Yes, definitely Gary. I think Share's a great option right now. I'm quite surprised, actually. But he's been great since Eddie Howe's come in. Keep Ollie Watkins for the upcoming game weeks or just jump into the Mateta ship? I think I'd just go to Mateta, honestly. He saves you a lot of money as well. Doherty seen leaving with crutches on his leg. He is a sell. Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't see the footage or the picture, so I'm not sure if that's the case. But yeah, if it's going around on Twitter and there's actual proof, then yeah. Thanks Dylan for your comments. Maybe a -4 for Share and Maddison, replace Rafinha and Cody. I think I'd do that, mate. I think that's a good set of transfers, and you're well set not only for 33 but also beyond. Salah to KDB? I wouldn't do it, and let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. But right now, and what I said yesterday as well, I think I'd keep Salah personally. The reason why I would sell Salah is because I have Trent and Robbo as cover. To get Luis Diaz, you said Jota might be the one. The thing is, that's just kind of an assumption. What's happened recently is Diaz started in the Champions League, but Jota started in the Prem. But that could easily change. So it's literally anyone's game. And it might depend on the opposition, who Klopp ends up playing. Because both of them deserve to start, But then do you bench Mane or Salah? That's his headache to kind of endure with. But I wouldn't sell Salah, mate. I think he will deliver. That's just the way I see it. His underlying stats point towards Salah hauling again once he just gets that finishing touch right. Next week, my bench. Bench 1, Rudiger, Doherty, Mateta. Is that okay? Yes. If Doherty is out, of course, then I would obviously move Mateta second and possibly even first. But yeah, I think your bench looks good, mate. James is sell now. Wildcard 34 is the plan. Fair enough, yeah, you could go either to another single game week player, but maybe it just makes more sense to go for the upside, go for Castagna or Share. Cheap midfielder, who would you choose? Gordon or Ramsey or other options? It just depends. If you want someone to sit on your bench, then I would go for Gordon. He's the cheapest of the lot, or maybe Dewsbury Hall. Otherwise, it just depends on your budget. You could go big in midfield. So as you can see with this team, what I would be doing is going big in midfield and potentially in the future dead-ending one of my striker positions instead. Because I think the midfield and defence is where the bulk of the points are going to be. The goalkeeper's not really too fussed about that. The same goes for the forwards right now. So yeah, I think that's what I would do. I'd go for Gordon if you want to dead-end that position, and you could have Gordon play from time to time. Otherwise, if you have a bit more money, go for Maddison, Kulusevski, maybe Saka, a few others like Son, Salah, etc. Havertz. Is Pogba a punt, keeping in mind you'll start both games with Fred and McTominay injured? he might be an interesting shout actually, but I just don't know. With the way United are playing, even Bruno and Ronaldo are a stretch. I'd maybe go for one of them. I'm not sure about Pogba. But then again, in game weeks before, I've expressed my kind of concern about Pogba, and he's ended up producing some big hauls for people. So it just depends. Given how you regard Arsenal going forward, why do you advise against swapping Saka for Barnes? Because as an FPL option, I still think Saka is maybe not better than Barnes until the end of the season, but is it worth getting rid of a double game week player for another one, especially when I still think Saka's a better option than Barnes? And also, Leicester aren't exactly the greatest team in the world. And yes, they've got plenty of doubles and they've got plenty of great fixtures as well, which Arsenal don't really have. But maybe that's a move to make in Game Week 34 onwards, not Game Week 33, if you catch my drift. That's just the way I see it. If it was maybe, if you had to do that and you wanted to keep Kulusevski, otherwise, you have to do the other reverse transfer, then maybe I would do it. But honestly, I just don't think there's as much upside to that transfer than it would be to move maybe Tierney to Share, for example, because he's obviously missing out for the rest of the season. Brought in James Ward-Prowse and Castagna in place for Doherty and Gallagher. Hopefully a good move. Yeah, I mean, hopefully James Ward-Prowse does the business for you, but he's been awful recently. Same with Southampton. Castagna looks pretty good, actually, Nathan. Gallagher, good fixtures, but he hasn't been doing it for some time. Thoughts on Doherty to Telles if Chelsea lose to Madrid in the second leg? Yeah, obviously, you said it before, they could have a double in 34 as well as 33, but once again, I just don't really see the appeal of United assets, especially the defenders. If anything, Bruno Fernandes I'd be intrigued by potentially, or maybe someone like, and he said Rashford, Sancho or Ronaldo, but I don't trust United's defence. And those fixtures, yeah, maybe Norwich is a clean sheet, but Liverpool, Chelsea, etc., I just don't really see it. Saka to Maddison before Game Week 33 or after that? I'd say after that, mate, personally. Although Maddison is a great option this week, same with Barnes. Sell Sarr and buy Schmeichel, yes, I think that's a good move. Yep, I think that's a great move. Sell Sarr, yeah, sorry, I just repeated myself. Doherty to Share and Saka to Maddison. Yes, I think that looks good, although once again, you can just keep Saka this week, do it next week. It's up to you. But Doherty to Share, especially if Doherty's injured, looks pretty good, mate. Sell James or Rudiger for Share Castagna. I mean, I think you said you're wildcarding in 34, aren't you, Singh? And if that's the case, I'd go for Castagna and I'd maybe sell Rudiger. I think James will start against Arsenal, but it's very risky. And I'm basically suggesting the more risky but yet potentially higher upside pick. Barnes and Maddison overrated. Conference League rotation could keep minutes low. I think there could be, occasions from time to time where they are benched. Especially, with the number of doubles as well, which is followed closely by those Conference League games. Yes, you could be right. But they're still going to have plenty of games and they're going to have high quality ones as well. So, yeah, they might be a bit overrated by some people, but I still think they're good options, especially in Game Week 33. I think they provide some of the best captaincy options, assuming they start the games, of course. Hoping Leicester move to PSV, so there'll be less rotation in the league. That might push me to go Leicester midfield. Yeah, I think we said the same about Chelsea and Reece James. Let's wait and see, but yeah, it's quite frustrating that we're kind of relying on these teams to lose in other competitions in order to really boost the prospects of their players. Best keeper option, I think Schmeichel personally. Probably Schmeichel or Dubravka. Dubravka's looking pretty good at the moment, but based on the fixtures and everything, maybe Schmeichel. Thank you. Thank you very much, Amar. Watching from Canada. Thank you very much. Big up Canada. Enjoy yourself. Have a good evening or afternoon. I think it might be there. But thank you very much. Phrase out of the question. I think I'm getting confused here. So yeah, Willock was the one who got injured recently. He didn't play obviously in Game Week 32. But Fraser came off a bit early. No, he's not a bad option. I think he's probably one of the better ones, under 6 million. But he's not really someone I'd prioritise personally. But yeah, for the person who asked about cheap midfielders, if you want someone that you want to start from time to time, like in Game Week 33, yeah, Fraser's a good option, potentially. Vardy punt, I'm just not sure if he's going to be available in Game Week 33, frankly. It might be quite some time before he's available again. So, yeah, I would definitely not be making a transfer right now for Vardy. If he's fully declared fit, even then, he might come off the bench for one of those games because why would they rush him back? He's been suffering from injury problems all season. So for me right now, no. On a free hit 33, are there many Man City or Liverpool assets who are essential? I don't know about essential, but Cancelo is the one that I would like to have even on a free hit. From Liverpool, I'd still say Salah and one of Robertson or Trent. I wouldn't double up on Liverpool defence on a free hit, but you kind of cover it. You cover these template players, or maybe go for a differential like Robertson, and then you cover these double game week teams like Leicester and United. So I think that's the kind of best thing to do there. Thank you, Nathan. First time catching the stream. Really useful information, so thank you for that. Thank you, Nathan, for tuning in, and glad to have you on here. That wasn't English, by the way, but yeah, thank you very much, mate. It's much appreciated. Justin and Share in. Cheap enough to bench but playable in decent fixtures? Yes. I think I'm more convinced about Share, because with Justin, I'm still not quite sure yet if he is the one to go for long term. The way I'm looking at it, I want to go big at the back, with the Liverpool fullbacks, Cancelo, maybe Reece James if you can finally start, and Fabian Schär, rather than going for Justin and Schär. You'd rather cover Leicester defensively with Schmeichel if possible. The only thing that can make this game better is Iheanacho Hall. Are we sleeping on Newcastle assets? I think I am personally, yes. I haven't really gone for them all season, but one possibility right now is to go for Schär. He's been very good. Say Maximan is someone I would have considered more often in the forward position, but he just keeps getting injured. Fraser's been good, in midfield recently, but too much inconsistency there. I think Schär and maybe Wood or Say Maximan is the way to go. Dubravka, of course, is offering great value right now. How do you find the time to keep on top of all the fantasy on YouTube? Great content, thank you. Thank you very much, Jack. Unfortunately, tomorrow I'm not able to, and that's why we did a quick stream today. But yeah, obviously, it's not like I'm, I see what you mean, but yeah, don't worry. I try to find the time, we do it, and then we move on. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to do some UCL fantasy videos tomorrow on Monday, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to stream every single day. That would be great. That would be ideal. But yeah, a few streams a week, basically, that's what we're doing at the moment. And I think in the last few weeks, we've basically been uploading a video per day, which is, yeah, crazy, but it's been very enjoyable. I was planning to build a bench boost for Game Week 36. No wildcard advice, please, at the moment. The thing is, look, you've already got plenty of double Game Week players. Ramsdale, Alonso, Trent, Robertson, Saka, Salah, Kulusevski, even Gordon. Kane, yes, you've got plenty of double Game Week players, so really you don't need to do too much. 8 Nuri is someone I would get rid of potentially, although they could have a double in 36 against City. But yeah, 8 Nuri, that's the guy maybe to get rid of. You mentioned Gordon twice, but yeah, let's see. So Salah, Kulusevski, Gordon. Yeah, I'm not sure what your other midfielders are, but that's what I'd focus on, upgrading your other midfielders there. But you might need to find money elsewhere, and even it might not seem like the right time, but someone like Alonso you can downgrade to Fabian Schär, and that gives you enough money to boost the rest of your team. But it's all about timing, and it just depends. I would recommend going on FPL.team, seeing how your team lines up every single week, and try to plan your transfers. Obviously, injuries will happen, and you might have to change your plans, but it's good to have those plans in motion. And players like 8 Nuri, for example, you can get rid of. Even Robert Sanchez, potentially get Dubravka, who's also cheaper. So yeah, I think there's a few things you could do, but most of your team looks fine. Fernandez, keep or sell? No, I'd keep him. With the double that he has, I'd definitely keep. Thoughts on Rudiger, Cancelo, James Robertson for the rest of the season in defence? Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, although I would rather double up on Liverpool defence, but then you also would argue, well, Chelsea defenders are cheaper, but those Liverpool fullbacks are just insane. So yeah, that looks good. And also what you could do is either go a bit cheaper with someone like Schär, or go a bit more expensive and go for Trent. But yeah, that looks good. I definitely like Robertson, Cancelo, and one of James or Rudiger. I'm not sure about both, but I can see why with the doubles they have and also the fixtures, the quality of those fixtures. Yeah, bonus points are in, yes, and that's all accounted for on the left-hand side of the screen. So I got 59 points, but with the 9 bonus points, I've got 68. Son can make Ballon d'Or? No. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. He's had 3 really good games, and obviously I'm not disputing his quality, but he's not going to win a trophy, and that's a really big part of, obviously, the Ballon d'Or. They have changed, apparently, they've changed it to favour more of these individual performances. But, I mean, just look at Benzema. He is the favourite right now. It's Benzema, then probably Lewandowski and Salah in the top 3, with Benzema first. So there's no chance for me for Son Ballon d'Or. If he moved to another club, started winning, the Prem or the league title, the Champions League, then maybe he could do it next year, but not this year, not at Spurs. Bench boost with Dubravka, Broja, Adams and Doherty to Laporte. That looks good, actually. That's a pretty solid bench boost, Naveen, yeah? It just depends on who you have in your starting 11, because what some people do is they put some good players on their bench, or those that have doubles, but then in their starting 11 they have maybe Gordon or something, who they probably won't haul anyway. But yeah, that looks good. That looks like a solid bench boost. What's your prediction for City Liverpool? I think I said it yesterday. I would probably go for a 1-1. But Liverpool have the form. It is a bit tricky. I think I'd go for a 1-1 though. Son got a yeah. I mean, yeah, Son has been really good recently. I'm surprised. He went from cold. Well, I don't want to say that word, but yeah, he went really, from two opposite ends of the spectrum, and he's just completely turned it on. 2-1 City. Yeah, I mean, they're at home. And I think, well, it's quite even between Klopp and Pep, but yeah, City have been a bit better recently in the kind of duels between each other. Their game, though, earlier this season was such a great game. Not sure if Kulusevski is the best January signing. Think Diaz had the biggest impact. Nah, I think Kulusevski because, yeah, Diaz has been pretty good. Obviously, he's won the Carabao Cup already, but Kulusevski has completely transformed Spurs' attack. They had no creativity. They had absolutely no creativity before. They were struggling to create chances, and now they're doing it with ease, and he has been that link, and their front three is just on another level. He's also helped to get the best out of Kane, and he's got the best out of Doherty when he's played on the right-hand side, or even Emerson Royale. So, for me, Kulusevski's been better. And obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan. I should be saying Diaz, but I personally think Kulusevski, in the Premier League at least, has been far better than Diaz, and he's been a better January signing. Robertson, Matip, Cody, Rudiger, Seister, Fabian Shermay, and also, once again, I'm not a big fan of Matip, and obviously Cody's blanking this week. Yeah, Seister, Share. You can make a few transfers here, to be fair, and I would try to get Cancelo in for one of those defenders you have, Matip or Cody, but you might need more money elsewhere. Do you think Kane should leave Spurs? Yes. I mean, if he wants to win trophies, if he wants to compete for the Ballon d'Or and, really maximise his career, then I think so. Personally, yeah. I don't see, even with Conte, this could obviously backfire, they might win something, but I just don't see them winning the biggest honours, and it's going to take a long time. By the time that they might be competitive and in a position to really fight, Kane might already be past his prime. And also, is Conte going to be there for more than 2 seasons? I'm not sure. Thanks again. Support Leclerc and Ferrari 9 hours later, mate. I'm also a super fan of Ferrari from my childhood and could not forget when Massa lost with a point in Brazil 2008. Yeah, I mean, that season, I didn't really support Massa or Hamilton. I didn't mind who won, basically. But typically, I'm a Ferrari fan. But what most people do with these F1 teams, they typically follow the driver, not the team. That's why I have a natural affinity with Ferrari because of Schumacher. But nowadays, not as much. But yeah, because I've got the Mega Driver chip on Leclerc in F1 Fantasy, I wouldn't mind if he won, basically. He's already got me plenty of points. But yeah, what I want is a really close fight between him and Verstappen, and that would be pretty good. Ferran, both of them. Well, I was talking about the Premier League specifically, mate, but I don't think so. I don't think Ferran's been a better one than Kulusevski as well. I think Kulusevski's just been the best probably in the world, actually. But yeah, Ferran's up there. He's been good, but he's also missed some pretty big chances as well, to be fair. I think Kulusevski's just had a bigger impact. What are your plans for the big game tomorrow, mate? Well, I went sports bar last week. I don't think I'm going to do that again. I think I'm just going to watch it with family, enjoy it. Nothing special, really. I'm not a fan of Liverpool or City. I just want a good game of football. But I'm not going to light candles or something around the house. But yeah, it should be a good game. What club do you think he'd fit in? Still in the Premier League or outside England? I think he would fit in City. Just the way he drops deep and those wingers could run beyond him. And also just the link up. His range of passing, I think, would suit Pep Guardiola and City. I think, would you say Bayern Munich, really? Yeah, it's quite tough. I think there's not that many clubs. Maybe PSG, especially if Mbappe left, for example. Then Kane there with Neymar and Messi. That could be really good. But yeah, I think Mbappe's going to stay at PSG. So yeah, basically City. City is the one. I don't think... I saw somewhere, I think The Athletic, where Kane is open to moving to United. And I just don't really see the appeal for both teams. Or both parties, should I say. So yeah, I'd say City. How many double game week is okay for 33? I think even 5 or 6, mate. You don't need to go gung-ho on this. Worth to downgrade Lacazette even with double game week and get Laporte? Yes. Lacazette has been awful. And if Arsenal continue the way they're going, I just don't really see him getting that many returns regardless. And he's not... Yeah, I would probably do it. Kane and Son is top class. Both should leave. I agree. And if they want to make the most out of their career and win trophies, unfortunately, it's just how it is, Obviously, Spurs fans might disagree as well. Obviously, if I was a Spurs fan, I would love them to stay. But yeah, I think they should. For their career, they should. But then again, will they be as good in another club as they are now? Maybe not, but they'll probably be more successful. Just look at Spurs versus Villa. When Conte subbed Kulusevski, Son, Spurs were crap with Lucas Moura Bergwijn. Like early season Spurs. Then again, though, they've already got that commanding lead, so they're naturally going to be more defensive. But yes, there's a huge drop-off. But then again, I think Spurs have better squad depth than Arsenal. I mean, Lucas Moura and Bergwijn to come on. Let's say, for example, Saka and Martinelli got injured. Who do they have to replace them? Pepe and maybe Smith Rowe? Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's not the best comparison, actually. But, like, let's say, for example, Partey. He comes off, then you have Lokonga coming on. Look at that downgrade. Tierney to Tavares. You have to shift, Xhaka to left-back or even Saka. Yeah, I think even Spurs have a better squad depth than Arsenal, which says a lot. But yes, obviously there is a drop-off from those players. I mean, Son is world-class. Bergwijn and Moura aren't, basically. City will sign Haaland, so don't think Kane could go there. Yeah, but they have the option to sign either of them. I think for City, it makes more sense to go for Haaland, even though Kane's play style is maybe more suited, and also he's more complete than Haaland. But Haaland's more clinical, I think. Haaland's finishing is insane. Kane is clinical as well, don't get me wrong, but Haaland is an absolute monster. What's the story behind Weghorst being benched? Basically, there's a Twitter page, and it got a lot of kind of infamy last season when Dean Smith commented on it, because basically players were giving away, what is happening, in terms of who's being benched based on their FPL transfer activity. But basically, I think Dwight McNeil transferred out Weghorst for Jay Rodriguez. So everyone's thinking that Weghorst is going to be benched now. That's basically it. What's your thoughts on buying Wood? I'm still not a big fan. He scored a penalty, he got bonus points, but his stats are still pretty poor. Bit similar to Weghorst. He could be a good option with that double in 33, but beyond the free hit in Gameweek 33, do I want him in my team long term? No. So yeah, I'm not really thinking of a long term purchase of Wood. Yeah, obviously not. Rather in Hedge aside, Kane at Arsenal would fit them pretty well. Definitely, he would be probably the ideal player. I think Arteta would rather have Kane than probably any other striker in the world. Yeah, I think that's a good point, to be fair. Just a link up, dropping in deep when needed, playing in the likes of Saka, Martinelli through on goal. Yeah, no, he would be. But would Kane go to Arsenal? No, because if anything, it's a sideways or downgrade move. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And also, he wouldn't risk. Obviously, you already know this anyway. It's just, there's no point even talking about it because it's not going to happen. Should I take a few hits to get 5 playing double gimmick players? If you're getting players like Maddison, then yes, I think it's worth it. But it depends on the players you're bringing in and out. Mount out, Maddison in for double gimmick? Yes, I think so. Despite Mount's crazy haul, I think it's a good move. But maybe you'd want Mount back for the rest of the season after. Rafinha to Maddison, Lacazette to Mateta, Maximan. Sace to Laporte for a -4. I like it. I don't really have any problems. I would go for Mateta over Maximan just because Alex just gets injured too much this season and Mateta's cheaper. You can always bench him as well from time to time. Tell the wife to put Mason Mount in. I put Fernandes in. What a bummer. I'm getting stick. Yeah, unlucky, mate. I mean, that is crazy. Fernandes instead of Mount. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought Southampton would be on the beach and lose 6-0? That's what I mean. This is crazy. Arsenal bench strength is in midfield is really poor. Yep, if you look at the bench, there's a lot of youth players in there as well. I think Miguel Aziz was promoted in there last minute. It's just a shambles, absolute shambles. And I can understand why Arsenal did what they did, getting rid of toxic players or trimming down the squad to keep those happy, have a more unified group. But not getting a striker and relying on Lacazette and Nketiah to get you top 4. Compare that to Kane and Son. There's no comparison. And that's why Spurs will get top 4. It's mainly because of those two. And also the signing of Kulusevski. They address their weaknesses in the January transfer window. Their creativity, pretty much sold by Kulusevski right now. Who are the 2 best defenders for Gameweek 33? I would say Castagna. I'm looking at double Gameweek players, by the way. I'd say Castagna and Cher. Otherwise, it's the usual suspects, the Liverpool fullbacks, Cancelo. So yeah, those would be kind of my picks there. Who do you think Manchester United should get rid of to get something starting off fresh for next season? Interesting question. I think it's not just players, it's also everything. Obviously, the owners is the overarching issue, but that's not going to happen. They're going to stay, they're making so much profit. So what United need is a manager with a long-term vision. And who do they get rid of? Personally, I look at the starting 11 and I don't know that many that are really Manchester United players that are good enough for the club. De Gea, yes, he's good enough. Varane, obviously he's just come in. He's been poor, but I think with a better centre-back partner, maybe he's going to, improve a lot. Bruno Fernandes, yeah, but he has been a bit shaky this season. He's got a long-term contract, there you go. Ronaldo, I'm just not sure, in terms of the play style, You compare how United were last season to this season. I just don't think Ronaldo's really that guy, for United right now. He's no longer in his prime. He's still a great goal scorer. He's obviously one of the best of all time, but I just don't think he's a fit for United. Maybe with the new manager, that could be different. There has been a huge drop-off for Ronaldo ever since Rangnick has come in, but I just don't think Ronaldo's a solution, basically. I don't think he's the biggest problem, but he's also not solving the issue. So basically what United need to do, clear out. These players that are, their contracts are about to expire, like Pogba, get rid of them. It's always been every summer, is Pogba staying, is he going Madrid? Just get rid of these players and get players who want to play for United. And obviously there's more to that. You still need good recruitment, not just spending a lot of money on Maguire, but also getting, good value for money for your purchases. But there's so much. What I just said is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much to uncover. Should Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Guendouzi be sent for loan with such poor bench strength? No, they shouldn't have, to be fair. Guendouzi was from the summer, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I didn't get that, from the beginning. He's quite average, but, I'd rather have him to cover than not. And shortly after he left on loan, Arsenal had problems at left back, right back, central midfield. He could have played any one of those spots and alleviated our problems around January when we struggled a lot. And Arsenal have this thing where they have a really poor month, like January, then they bounce back in February and March, and then they go back to being crap in April. So, yeah, top four is done for Arsenal. I have Cher, Saka, Willock, Vekos, Broja. Need more double game weeks or suggest? I mean, that's fine. Willock, I'm not too sure if he's going to be back in time for 33, but Maddison could be a good transfer for you, Jota. But I don't think you need that many more. I'm struggling to really, recommend too many more of these double game week players. Doherty, Tierney and Willock all injured. Yeah, exactly. It's just a complete nightmare at the moment. Remind us when Man City double game week is. Right now it's not confirmed, but it's going to be either game week 36 or 37. That game against Wolves will be moved to one of those game weeks. What we're hoping for is probably game week 37, and that means the game week 37 free hit looks fantastic there. Matic, Mata, Pogba, Lingard, Bailly, Martial, one of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he said Ainsley. Dalot needs to go. Yeah. No, exactly. I think all of them pretty much. That's pretty much the story of Man United. They need a rebuild, and I think they will be, competing at some point within the next 5-10 years, but it might take a long time, basically. As a United fan after today, I'd settle them all, bar De Gea. Yeah, look, if I was a United fan, I'd feel the exact same way. Even with Arsenal's performance, it was pathetic, but the reason why Arsenal get less slack is because it's a young team, but, these teams should be at the top. They should be competing for the title, and they're just way off. They're years away. Their squads are nowhere near the likes of City and Liverpool. Get rid of the whole starting 11. Keep De Gea and Fernandes. Yeah, look, Ronaldo as well. I mean, it's surprising. I thought he would have an impact, and I thought United would finish third or fourth, but it just hasn't happened. And some people even thought about the league title for United. How do I keep getting the 50-50s wrong this season? At 40k, but a couple of choices either way, I'd be in the top 1k. This is what I mean. Sometimes it's luck, and you have a good, logic and thought process behind it, but it just doesn't go your way. And sometimes circumstances besides, or beyond your control, should I say, just don't go your way. There you go. The other players that aren't good enough can become squad players. Yeah, true. Fred is a good example. He's probably been, apart from De Gea, probably one of United's best players this season. So, which is surprising, but then again, he does play well for Brazil from time to time. He needs that partner next to him, but I think United have too many of these players. Varane as well. He had this reputation of being one of the best centre-backs in the world, but throughout his Real Madrid career, he had, Ramos next to him. At France, Umtiti when he was good, he had him next to him. So, I don't know. United need more leaders, they need more world-class players, but also just maybe younger players with hunger. A lot of times United seem to give up. They go one goal down and they seem to just throw the towel in, and that is just not the thing to do. The drop-off Rashford this season is astonishing. To be fair though, his performances last season weren't that good. He just had the goals and assists to kind of cover that up. We're on the same points. Fair enough, Luke. Obviously, good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully you get the rank you want. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Was thinking of getting Ronaldo, but after today's performance, United will make Norwich look at Bayern Munich. I think United will beat Norwich, but I don't think they'll smash them. And I could be wrong either way. Norwich could win or get a draw, or United could actually end up getting a big result. But I think they will win, maybe by 1 or 2. And I'm just not sure if it's worth bringing in Ronaldo. I definitely would not be getting rid of Kane for Ronaldo this week. Definitely not. Keep Saka, Martinelli for Game Week 33. Yeah, I probably would, especially Saka. But they're just looking really awful at the moment, Arsenal. I'm going to be 50 quid down at the end of the season unless Ronaldo scores hat-tricks every game until the end of the season. Well, did you say he's going to be top scorer? To be fair, I think I think I said Salah top scorer, but at one point I was thinking of Lukaku top scorer. Imagine that. At least Ronaldo's got double digits. Best for double weekend in every position. Minor Schmeichel, Cher, Maddison, Saka. Okay, fair enough. Yes, I think goalkeeper, I actually agree with all of them, except maybe the striker. Best, okay, so a doubler. Maybe I'd go for Adams, but to be fair, that 4 you said FPL Dream is probably spot on. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much, Tom. No, there's a lot of great FPL content creators. To be fair, it was a kind of short notice stream. And to be fair, maybe a lot of people just don't want to watch FPL or talk about it because it's just so... These 50-50 decisions just go one way or the other. There's no in between. I've got a bench boost on wildcard. I don't know when to use them. 36 bench boost and wildcard 34. Consider the wildcard in 33 though, but I think I would go that way, Arjun. Do you think Bruno's trying to do too much? He gives the ball away and costs the team. To be fair though, he's always done this. It's his kind of play style. I've said this before. He reminds me a bit of Di Maria, where I remember against Switzerland in 2014, he lost the ball 51 times, but he kept trying, persisting, trying to force the issue, and then he scored the winning goal. That's the type of player Bruno is. He's a risk taker, but it's just not really paying off right now. He got, I think 6, 7, Champions League assists this season, but I don't know. It's just not falling for him. And last season he was getting the goals and assists. He was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. But yeah, it's more of a structural issue. I don't think Bruno coexists that well with Ronaldo. This has also been proving at Portugal, despite the fact they combined against North Macedonia recently. I just don't really think they work well together. I captained Son, did you? Yes, I did as well. That's pretty much the reason why I halved my rank, because before the Spurs game, I was around 80k. Just joined, is this your team of 2 free transfers? Yes, it is, exactly. So Maddison in for Rafinha and Fabian Schär for Tierney. Let me know what you think. I could make some hits and stuff, but I already look at my bench and it's okay. It's actually pretty good. So I think I'm just going to keep things as they are. I might just end up doing these 2 transfers. But of course, I'll let you guys know if Weghorst is benched, then I might start Broja instead of him. And ultimately, I want to downgrade and dead end that 3rd position. Maybe get Mateta, get these cheap strikers, just forget about them and focus on my defensive midfield. I still want to get Cancelo if possible. And ideally, I'd want to get him and Harry Kane, but it's very tricky for me to do that without selling one of Salah or Heung-min Son. But there's going to be plenty of content throughout the week for FPL and UCL Fantasy, so stay tuned. Any chance you could do a free hit 33? In terms of me free hitting, there is a chance, but a slim one. In terms of a best free hit team, that will be coming up within the next few days, so stay tuned for that. Will Ramsdale be blanking for the rest of the season? No, I think he'll get maybe a few clean sheets, and by that I mean maximum 3 or 4, the way it's looking, and that's me being optimistic. I think Ramsdale will get a few returns, but just not as many, and I thought he'd be a great option until the end of the season. I've been wrong. Right now, with those injuries as well, that's only... Yeah, Arsenal are just shocking, basically. Just forget about them. Sarr to Kasper, Martinelli to Maddison, and Weghorst to a 5.5 million forward or under. Yep, I like that, and I'd go for Mateta. Kucha came off with a hamstring injury, so bear that in mind, and thank you to everyone who pointed that out in the stream today. Jay Rodriguez is an interesting one, but I think I'd go Mateta, and the other 2 moves, I honestly have no issues with them. I'd probably do it, mate. And I think you're well set for the rest of the season. But thank you very much for watching. It's been a bit of a short one today, but it's much appreciated that you decided to tune in today. Smash the like button. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's retry that again. Let's reverse time. No, I'm joking. But yeah, Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. And Instagram is Dylan_RCM. You can join the Discord server. The link is in the description below. If you've got any more questions, I'll try to answer any last ones you've got. But there's going to be more content along the way. A UCL Fantasy deadline stream on Tuesday. Don't forget to watch that. And normally we do these reaction streams on the Sunday. But I want to try to get some UCL Fantasy and FPL stuff recorded and done ahead of the week, and I'm not able to also do the stream as well. And also to test some stuff, the Saturday streams were very popular early in the season as well. So just testing the waters. But thank you very much. Thank you, El Padrino, once again. Is Lacra a sell right now? I think I already answered this question already. Yeah, I think he is, mate. Even before Gameweek 32. He's just not scoring enough. Do you think Chelsea can overturn? Yes, they can. Will they? That's a different story. But yeah, I think they are a better team than Madrid, personally. What's the reason behind getting Schär? He's got a double game week, he's cheap, and Newcastle have been one of the best defensive teams since Eddie Howe's come in. That's pretty much it. Also, other options to consider are the Crystal Palace defenders like Anderson and Mitchell, which I talked about yesterday. So happy with my big haul. Son captain and Kane on the side has been working since Game Week 30. Fair play, mate. Yeah, I mean... A few weeks ago, it was the complete opposite. Son wasn't getting any returns. Kane was just going mental. And that's what we do. Cristiano Insta posting free ticket for the Everton fan whose phone he broke. Oh yeah, I saw that video. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't see that he posted it on Instagram. Thank you very much for that. And obviously, let me know what you guys think of that situation. But are you getting Ronaldo? Are you getting Bruno Fernandes and FPL? I mean, right now, these FPL assets, for United, it's a no-go for me, basically. But take care, enjoy the football. Let's see what happens on Sunday. And it should be a very interesting one. But just enjoy it. That's the main thing. If you've got a red arrow, don't think about it too much. Don't let it get to you. Just literally 2 or 3 hours ago, I was having a red arrow and I didn't really mind, to be fair. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I can see Barnes being benched tomorrow. He was awful versus PSV. It's a possibility, to be fair. It's a possibility. When did you open the stream? I opened it not too long ago. I think around 8:15. Basically, so it hasn't even been 2 hours. Budget 5.3. Yeah, Schmeichel, mate. Jota, once again, I'd go for Schmeichel, I think. Or if not, Dubravka. Thanks for the explanation. Makes sense. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night and great stream as always. Thank you, Mickey. Much appreciated. Obviously, we'll talk more about this in future deadline streams, the videos as well, and UCL Fantasy. If any of you play that, stay tuned for that. Also, the UCL Fantasy team selection, Limitless, Wildcard, they could all be out in the next few days. I'll be talking to all of you on the Discord and also in the community post. So take care, enjoy the football, and I'll see you next time.